Welcome back, y'all, to the Check Swing Podcast. This is myself, and of course, the brains and brawn of the situation. My man over there, Coach Santa, who's down in
Baltimore, having big fun.
yes, down in the city of Baltimore, Charm City, the home of the Baltimore Harbor, the home of I don't know what else,
The Wire.
home of The Wire, the home of. I'm gonna test your gumption here, Miguel. Do you remember the show that I can't call it a pre? It wasn't a prequel, but it was like the pre. It was like the precursor to The Wire. Do you remember the show? Same channel, same kind of damn thing called. Same kind of
Genre.
yeah.
First thing I thought of 227, but that was based on a DC.
Definitely 227 didn't come on HBO. This was an HBO show.
I can only the only other show I was watching at least before that was Oz, but I thought that was a prequel to all the other.
No, not Oz. Not Oz. That was a good guess though, because um Oz did Oz predate The Wire? I think it did. But this show was actually, and now after all that, now I've kind of forgot the name of the show, but it was called I'll remember. I think it was called Corner. What was it called? I'll figure it out. But it was a show in Baltimore about it was kind of based about these drug addicts, and one in particular, this drug addict family and stuff. But it kind of led to it, and I believe Charles S. Dutton, who was the the main actor, lead actor in Rock, the TV show Rock. Charles S. Dutton actually, I think, was the director and producer of this show. Um, doggone, I'll figure it out before the end of the show. I had it in my head and it slipped. Go ahead.
You're right. It's called The Corner.
The Corner. Thank you. The Corner.
It was in 2000. Most people consider it the prequel or the early miniseries prior to The Wire.
And so there were some of the same actors,
Right.
in both shows. And here's what I will also tell you: were you a Wire watcher?
I wasn't. I saw maybe like a few episodes, but not enough to say that I was a connoisseur of the show.
I'll tell you what: if you watch it now, you'll probably still enjoy it. It was that good of a show.
That's what I was told. Yeah.
It was that good of a show. But there was for the people that's watching us that did watch The Wire, and did watch The Corner. There was a character on The Wire called Brother Mouzone. Okay, Brother Mouzone had a security guard, I guess you can call him. The brother that played Brother Mouzone's security guard was also, or was he was the person who the main character was based off of in The Corner. So the real person that was the main character in The Corner, the actual real person, not the actor, had a part on The Wire. They gave him a part on The Wire. So it's pretty cool. Just wanted to put that out there for those that may not know that The Wire and stuff had anyway. Let's get to the show because we're not talking about The Wire. We could talk about The Wire all day, but we're not talking about that. Back to the lecture at hand. We are here for yet another Wednesday night. We were here Friday night last week. We're here for another Wednesday night. We're back on our regular time. And before I get the show going, I always like to ask my folks how they been. So Miguel,
Sir.
how you been?
Not terrible. My arthritis has been acting up a little bit.
Big dummy.
Is that a shot at me?
Your arthritis.
My arthritis.
Mhm.
As you know, cold is not good for the arthritis, and now we're I don't know what it's like in Philly, but they're telling us to prepare for Armageddon down here. They've already called for a weather readiness event. So
for this
so
weekend.
so much so that church service has been canceled for Sunday, and we're having it on Saturday.
Oh wow.
So the church that I go to, there's 3 locations. So rather than having all 3 locations, they're gonna have one location, one time, 10 a.m. on Saturday. So
How much
yeah.
snow are they talking about you guys getting down there? Because it's changed for us several times.
So first they didn't confirm. First they said there was going to be a weather event. Today they just confirmed that it's going to be a snow event. So hopefully by tomorrow they'll actually be able to give how many inches. The last that I saw, the several predictions have been anywhere between 12 to 18 inches.
Okay, so at very first, like last week, when they were talking about this weekend coming storm, very first number I heard was 23 inches.
Cool.
And I heard 20 inches. Then yesterday, I heard like 12. So it keeps going down. But they also, like you said, they just confirmed that it's actually going to be snow where you are today. So they haven't really confirmed, at least as of this morning when I was watching the news, they haven't really confirmed what we're going to be getting. But I hope. Listen, I'm not a fan of the snow. I'm not a fan of the cold weather. But Miguel, when I tell you, I hope we get lambasted by snow. I hope we get mollywopped by the snow. Keep me out of work for at least a week, please. And it's probably just because I don't want to go to work. That's really the only reason.
But you're still going to see. It's different nowadays. We can still work though. We can still work virtually.
Yes, and I would not have a problem with that. I'm not going to go into it, but you could probably. We've had enough conversations that you probably know why. I'm not going to get that deep into it because you
Yeah,
never
I
know.
mean, I too enjoy working with no pants. I get it.
Exactly.
Damn.
Um.
Every
All right.
time you say this, you're grabbing
Let's get into it. We have the Eagles. Okay, the Eagles, one of the top franchises in the NFL. Also, with one of the most high-powered offenses in the NFL. Probably one of the highest paid offenses in the NFL. They do not have anyone in the NFL to coach this high-powered offense as of right now. They, as we all know, they have fired their offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo. Fired, what was that, last week? I believe they fired him.
right.
Couldn't have been before that because they had games. um, but they haven't replaced them yet. And not that it's unusual that they haven't replaced them yet. It's just that some of the names that a lot of fans and a lot of pundits were putting out there that would be a quote unquote good fit for the Eagles offense are landing elsewhere. For example, Mike McDaniel, one of the guys I said I wouldn't mind seeing the Eagles hire as offensive coordinator. He decided, I'm going to go out here in the nice, I was going to say San Diego Sun, but it's actually the LA Sun, and be the offensive coordinator with Jim Harbaugh, with Jim Harbaugh. And he's going to deal with that and be the offensive coordinator for Herbert, Justin Herbert. Brian Daboll, the other guy, said wouldn't mind seeing him as the offensive coordinator for the Eagles. It's looking like he's going to take a job elsewhere. And I don't know if either one of these guys interviewed with the Eagles, to be honest with you. I know McDaniel did not. I don't know if Daboll, I feel like Daboll was scheduled to.
I believe they both were scheduled to, but I think the Eagles knew that Daboll was he's really, I believe the last I heard was that he's interested in the Buffalo job.
Yes.
Which I think if he goes to Buffalo and goes, I think he'll have some success there.
Why you think that?
Just because of what what he already has. I mean, yeah, he has Josh Allen who failed in the playoffs again, but he still has some of a pedigree. He has a great running back, a pretty good offensive lines, some okay wide receivers. So he's going. It's not like with the Giants where he was kind of going in and kind of going in for a rebuild. You know what I mean? He's taking over a playoff team versus a rebuild. So I think the potential for him to be successful there is good, and he can get over the hump, so to speak. Um,
Got it.
but yeah, I haven't seen. I believe he's still scheduled to interview, but I think the Eagles are expecting him to take one of two jobs that he's interviewing for. So if he's offered, so I think McDaniel's the only one that told everybody he's off the table, but there hasn't been anything official about him signing with the Chargers, wherever they are.
Josh Allen is the James Harden of the NFL. I'm just put that out there for everybody to meditate and y'all take it how y'all want to take it. Josh Allen is James Harden of the NFL. The only thing Josh Allen has going for him is the fact that he still has a lot left in his career, a lot more than James Harden does. Even though it's football, your career could end in any moment. He has a lot. He's younger than James Harden. He's been a professional not as long as James Harden. James Harden is on the other side of the hill as far as his career is concerned. But yet he has not. He's only been to one final. I should not say he hasn't been to a final. But he was not the leader of that team that went to the final. He was actually good enough to be a starter, but he was actually coming off the bench on that team. Team that had Westbrook, Durant, and James Harden. Wow. Young team, man. That young team was good. But with that being said, the offensive coordinator job stays open. And Miguel, like I said earlier, it's one of the top. I would think, maybe I'm wrong. It's one of the top jobs in the NFL. I would think, right? So the talk is these guys don't want to coach Jalen. They don't want to work with Jalen. That's the talk. Nobody's come out and said that as far as Daboll and McDaniel. No, but they haven't said I don't want to work with Jalen Hurts. But that's what people are assuming. I feel like, and please point me in the right direction if I'm not pointing in the right direction, if I'm just speaking out my bunghole. I feel like maybe these guys don't want to coach with Sirianni. I mean, that the talk is there has been a lot of dislike for Sirianni with his sideline antics and the things like that, the mugging the camera and all the smack talking and stuff that he does, and it's not well received. I don't think around the league. Do you think it could be more of a Sirianni thing than a Jalen thing, Miguel? Or do you think it's people are spot on saying it's Jalen?
If I had to choose the two, I would probably lean towards Sirianni. And for me, it's the Jersey douchery for me. Just
Is he from Jersey?
No, but he comes off as like he comes off like a South Jersey Eagles fan because they're a little bit more douchier and like he looks like he has like a meth problem that he's covering up. Um,
I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes during the football season, looking into his eyes, you would kind of think that
right.
there's. I'm gonna just leave that alone, but he
Well,
looks a little.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
He looks a little questionable to me
Questionable.
on the
Agreed.
sideline.
I don't know. For me, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I'm looking at the situation, I would think I would love to come into the situation for the simple fact that I think it's more apparent now that Sirianni is more of a manager than he is a coach, so to speak.
He's a CEO.
Because CEO, he's the CEO coach, right? Like, because every time he's intervened and like taken more control over, we've seen it hasn't, he's not a great play caller. He even admitted that. But once he turned the play calling over to a capable offensive coordinator, we've either gone to a Super Bowl with Steichen or we've won a Super Bowl with Kellen, right? I think this blew up in his face by hiring his friend. And I don't know many organizations that would keep a coach that would almost sacrifice the season and not fire this person. You know what I mean? It's also telling too that when that disaster season happened the year after we won the Super Bowl, all these changes had to be made in the offseason. I've never seen a case where everybody was removed except for the head coach. I've never seen that before. It's almost unprecedented. Then you come back with Fangio, which is the greatest hire I think the Eagles made from a coaching standpoint outside of the head coach. And then you get Kellen Moore, and you know what I mean? And then you win the Super Bowl. So it was like, so what is Sirianni's true role? And if I'm an offensive coordinator and you're telling me that I have complete and total control of the offense, why would I not take that job? But let me pose this to you. What if it's neither Sirianni or Hurts, but maybe the Eagles front office because of how involved they are? Because I mean, you see Lurie. I mean, yeah, he has end of season, conversation or news conference or whatever. But, you know, there were several times I believe where they had to call meetings in the middle of season, owner, general manager, and coach to try to fix the issue. And I don't, I'm sure there's meddling owners and GMs, but for the Eagles to have done this a couple of times, I think that might be a little bit off-putting or whatever the case may be. So
I feel like and you make a good point. You make a good point. But I also feel like the meddling from the Eagles front office only happens, at least when we hear about it, really only happens when it's necessary.
right, and that's what I mean. But it's like it's necessary to the point where they've intervened and literally removed coaches, demoted coaches, like with Johnson being the offense coordinator, and then going upstairs for whatever the hell that was, and then trying to get the who was the coach from the Patriots.
Oh, that was the defensive side. That
Right.
was Matt Patricia, and I
Pat
forgot
Patricia.
who was the defensive coordinator that year. It doesn't matter. That's
It
not
doesn't
with it.
matter. Some hack job, right?
But yeah, that was the year, and it was them and Brian Johnson on the offensive side,
Right.
and things just did not look great, right?
Mhm.
It could be any of those three, right? It could be Hurts, it could be Sirianni, it could be the front office, and it could be the unknown, right? And I don't mean the unknown as in we just don't know exactly. What I mean is the unknown is Lane Johnson coming back. What's happening with AJ Brown? What is Jalen willing to do and not willing to do, if anything? I mean, it could be those questions you ask on an interview during an interview, but those things can also you may not even want to deal with coming into a situation. Because let's be honest, even though the Eagles have probably the one of the best offenses on paper, last year the offense was a total ish show. And I don't know, like you have to have a certain mindset to come in and tackle that.
Right.
You have to believe in yourself enough to say, I'm going to come in here and make this difference. If you are good at what you do as an offensive coordinator, to me, it shouldn't matter.
Mhm.
If you are good enough to make the change, like it really shouldn't matter. Is AJ Brown going to be there? Let's say he's not. Does that mean you're not going to be able to run this offense? You got to figure it out because other offenses won't be as good, and you're going to have to figure that out. So I don't know. I mean, it could be a while before we see an offensive coordinator hired. Um, I believe they interviewed somebody today, but I forgot who it was, and it really doesn't.
So, well, they interviewed Matt Nagy, who was the offensive
Matt Nagy,
coordinator.
there you go. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's what,
he was under Andy Reid. He was his offensive coordinator since 2016. No. So he originally was from Philly. He was under Reid in Philly from 2008 to 2012 as an intern. Then he went to be his quarterbacks coach in Kansas City for a few years before taking over as the offensive coordinator. Side note, the Chiefs actually rehired Eric Bieniemy as their offensive coordinator today too. So I was like,
they did.
I still don't understand why he's not getting a head coaching job, but I mean I understand, I guess, but
Maybe
I
people don't
forgot.
like him as a maybe Andy Reid's the only one like him as an offensive coordinator.
Well, not for nothing, but he's won Super Bowls with Eric Bieniemy, so
Yeah,
sure that
and
helps.
Eric Bieniemy ain't calling the plays, so I'm sure Kevin Patullo wishes he was in Eric Bieniemy's shoes because he might still have a job right now because he wouldn't be calling the plays.
Right.
Let's move on because the Eagles situation is going to be the situation. Maybe next week we'll be able to talk about something a little different as far as them hiring somebody, but we'll wait till next week to see if that's the case. But the playoffs are still going on even without the Eagles. They are going on, and I mentioned Josh Allen earlier. Is he the James Harden of the NFL? And that's not fair. It's really not fair because it's very hard in football. It's very hard in football to get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. And there are plenty of players that have not done it. But I don't know how many players have had the expectations of Josh Allen, especially coming off an MVP season. And in the season when the playoffs where there was no Mahomes, no Jackson, no Brady. Brady's gone. Mahomes gone. Well, no, Mahomes not gone. Mahomes just didn't make the playoffs. Jackson didn't make the playoffs. And Josh Allen still did not get it done. The expectation was they were kind of one of the favorites in the playoffs to get it done. They were one of the preseason favorites to win the Super Bowl. What was it? Eagles, Ravens, Bills, I believe. Maybe and I think the Lions. Maybe not in that order, but those were the four
All right.
teams that had the highest expectations. And none of them are in the playoffs anymore. How about that? Two of them wasn't in the playoffs at all. Three of them wasn't in the playoffs at all.
And you know what's funny? And I was thinking about like if I was gonna make this statement or not because of what I saw. I saw a analyst literally compare the issues between Josh Allen and Chase Daniel. And it's funny. And I think you might have seen I said, huh?
Chase Daniel.
I'm sorry, Jalen Hurts. Chase Daniel was the one that made the comparison. I'm sorry.
Okay. I just confused Jalen Hurts and Chase Daniel.
I confused myself. So Chase Daniel made this comment about Jalen Hurts. He says, "Why the Eagles and Jalen Hurts are completely broken right now. At some point, we are going to have to look at the QB and not the scheme." And then when you look at Josh Allen after he loses the game, his comment is, "Feel absolutely awful for Josh Allen. Seems like the same ending every single year for him. Forget all the turnovers. This is the one throw he's going to want back all season. Would have been a walking TD to win the game." So it feels like there's not enough vitriol for Josh Allen, who hasn't won a Super Bowl, hasn't been to a Super Bowl. But there's all this vitriol for Jalen Hurts, who's been to 2 Super Bowls and won one.
You're absolutely right. Wasn't Chase Daniel a quarterback on the Eagles at some point?
He has made more money than most starting quarterbacks in the NFL as a backup. Yes, I believe he was the $10 million a year backup for Carson Wentz, and then made another $8 million being the backup in Kansas City.
So I believe that, and this is just my only personal belief and opinion. I believe that there are certain teams in the NFL, and I'm not even going to go to the obvious yet, if I go to it at all. But there are certain teams in the NFL that they get more sympathy than others. And I think Buffalo is one of those teams. I think Buffalo losing those 4 Super Bowls in the 90s caused a general feeling of sorrow for Buffalo Bill. And then after that, they stunk for a long time.
Right.
They stunk for like 20 years. Maybe even more. I feel like one of the teams that does not get the sympathy, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree with me on this, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, but the Dallas Cowboys were
Cowboy quarterback and you don't get it done, you're going to get talked about.
Yeah, but the Dallas like everybody hates the Cowboys outside of Dallas and maybe like parts of New Jersey, but New Jersey's not a state.
My point. You're making my point. You're absolutely right. And I feel like in New England, outside of the Tom Brady era, in New England, you get a lot of sympathy there. Right, there's certain teams that won't get. You probably don't get sympathy as a Steelers. Being a Steeler, being an Eagle right now, we've had success. You're not getting that sympathy. I feel like a Carolina, you get the sympathy in a Carolina and in Atlanta, in a Minnesota, something like that. But there's certain teams that do not receive that sympathy because I feel like if Josh Allen was the quarterback for the Cowboys, and the same results were happening, of course, fans would be giving them the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember somebody saying what Chase Daniel said about Dak Prescott. I don't remember somebody saying what Chase Daniel said about Tony Romo outside of T.O. when he said that's my quarterback while he was in tears. It just doesn't have. We got. Not just shouldn't say we. People have sympathy for Josh Allen, and part of it is because he plays for the Buffalo Bills. The lovable Buffalo Bills with their crazy fans that jump through tables and they're so passionate and so loyal, just like Eagles fans are passionate and loyal. But Eagles fans will tell it like it is, to a certain point until it gets to their own special feelings and emotions. Niners trounced by the Seahawks, 41-6. The Seahawks once again kept the Niners out of the end zone. Second time in 3 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
They kept the Niners out of the end zone.
I mean, it should have been.
Don't get into the end zone. Go ahead.
It should have been us. I mean, it should have been. They were decimated by injuries to come into the game, and then they lose Kittle during the game, and it just seemed to like light a fire under them. They kind of rallied. So, but it is. We should have been able to take care of them the way Seattle did. Again, I don't think we would have beat Seattle or even Chicago. Just because the way this season, the vibe of this season was just really off. I didn't think we would make it past the second round. But
I think we would have beat Chicago. I don't think we would have beat Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle's tough.
Seattle's tough. We would only beat Seattle with our defense. The defense holds holds on against what's his name? Dalton. What's his name? Whatever his
Whatever.
name. Defense holds up against. I think we have a chance, but I think the Eagles would have beaten the Bears. What a game that was with the Bears and the Rams. What a game that would have finished that was. Um, and as I look at the notes, there I go changing the notes right now. Come on, get it together. Can I get it together?
Weinstead, what's that?
The Bears wasted their miracle. The
They
Bears
did.
wasted their miracle. And the regulation, they had a miracle throw by Caleb Williams.
I was floored.
I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback completely turn around and run straight back. Like I was wild, like, where is he going? Like, what is he? I said, oh Lord, this is how this game's gonna end with him running around like that. And then he just threw it. I was like, oh well, that's picked. That's picked or going out of bounds, you know. And then it was caught. Oh my God. It must be their time. It must be it must be meant for the Bears to go forward. Nope. Nope. Rams took care of business in overtime. Caleb Williams ends up throwing an interception, and the rest is history. Now, the game that we actually, I guess both games we've been looking forward to, but the game that I was looking forward to, but not as so much anymore, is the Patriots and the Broncos. Number 1 versus number 2, right? But now I'm not because Bo Nix is hurt. He broke his ankle towards the end of the game, and he won't be playing. So, not that you know, not that I don't think that they can still make it happen without, because I don't follow the Broncos that much to know that much, but I know they have Jared Stidham, who has been around the league. I believe he was an Eagle at one point too, right? I don't know. But I do know the Eagles at one point did have a backup quarterback in that went up against the Patriots and also won that game.
Did you see what that
Yes,
Nick Foles had posted?
absolutely.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right. The Patriots tend to have an issue with backup quarterbacks at times. So Broncos have a shot. Broncos have a shot. And if I remember correctly, Jared Stidham wasn't terrible. He just wasn't a starter.
Right.
He's serviceable. So yeah, those are your NFL playoff highlights. Anything to say about that, Miguel?
I don't know. I think I'm as far as like who I would pick. I was leaning Broncos until the Bo Nix thing, and it just seemed to just happen with his ankle. You know what I mean? Because I think the play
Yeah, but
before,
didn't hit or anything, right?
well, so I think it was the play before the kneel down when they were setting up for the game winning field goal. He rolled out to the left, and he just fell, and then he kind of got up and just was like laboring a little bit. And then they showed the video of when he did down the ball and he got up and he was laboring a little bit more. And then he went to the sideline and then the coach was like, "You good?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he put pressure on him and he collapsed.
I didn't see that.
So,
Damn.
yeah, it was just a real quick short. But it looks like it might be Patriots. I'm leaning Rams.
I'm also leaning Rams.
I'm leaning Rams against the Seahawks. That's going to be a tough game, though. But I'm thinking I think the Rams played their toughest game, unless they're completely gassed at this point. But I don't know, something about the Rams this year. I have a feeling it may be Rams and Patriots.
Rams and Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl rematch.
Bowl rematch of the most boringest Super Bowl I've ever watched in my entire life.
Ever.
And it also helped that it was the year after the Eagles won.
Right.
So it was like the excitement wasn't the same for me anymore.
Right.
And then the game was terrible.
Right.
It was like 12-8 or something
So
stupid.
nobody scored a touchdown until the fourth quarter, and I think the last drive for Brady, I think I forget who ran it in, but I think the final score was like 13-3 or something. It was something weird. But I think I want to say was it the first Super Bowl where a quarterback didn't throw a touchdown or something crazy like that?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I don't know. Could be. Could be. It would make sense. Yeah, so coming up later on in the show, of course, we got some basketball talk. We got some Sixers news. Miguel is going to stump me. Of course, we got some videos for y'all. And then we're also going to be talking about the Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame inductions. But before that, I know Miguel has a couple videos for us that he's going to, that he is carefully and delicately selected for us to, well, he's laughing already, for us to enjoy. So, is there any introduction needed, or am I just going ahead and making it happen?
Let's make it happen. These are just really these are kind of wild moments. Like, geez.
Did I lose you? Ooh. Did I? Did I? Did I lose you? Did I?
Damn.
Good Lord, he was propelled.
And this one, I want to say that several things were hurt here. I'll let you guess what things were damaged
Okay.
besides ego.
Okay, what do you got for him? Okay, double cross, tween. Oh, he's sizing him up. Oh, he lost it? Oh, he's clamped. It's over. Cross.
Damn.
That looked like it hurt. He didn't act like it hurt, but it looked like it hurt. I kind of cringed up myself because he was doing the complete split. So you gotta be careful playing basketball on some of these gym floors because sometimes they don't ever mop the floor and it's just dusty. I'm just.
Are you speaking from experience?
Oh yeah, I played on many a gym floor that just was just like being on ice, but nothing like that has ever happened to me, ever. Whew. All right, let's move on. We got some more videos a little later on in the show, so stick around for that. Major League Baseball has announced their Hall of Fame selections, and well, no Phillies this time. Some Phillies. Are they former Phillies? Some Phillies got closer
Right.
than they were previously, but no Phillies made it. So I'll start with the Phillies that didn't make it. Chase Utley got 59% of the vote. Bobby Abreu got 30.8% of the vote, and Jimmy Rollins got 25.4% of the vote, which for Jimmy is a lot more than he got before. Personally, I feel like we can discuss that. I'd vote for Jimmy to get in before Chase.
I would too. And Cole Hamels, by the way, was after Jimmy Rollins, so he got 23.
Cole Hamels is eligible?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure he is. There he is. I didn't realize he was eligible. Okay.
Yeah, it was his first year of eligibility.
Yeah, I feel kind of old that Cole Hamels is retired.
Yeah.
Like it's weird that he's he doesn't seem like he's too old to play.
When I look at the list here, other than Beltran and maybe Pettit, I feel really
kind of
old.
old, right? Yeah, Beltran. Well, he got 84. He got in. Beltran got in. Carlos Beltran. Congratulations, him. 84.2% of the vote.
Boricua.
And also Andrew Jones got 78.4. Did Andrew Jones get in?
He got in. So to get in, you have to get 75% of the vote or higher. So he got in by the skin of his teeth.
I don't know why I was thinking 79 just now, but because we definitely discussed that.
That was the year I was born.
75.
79.
You sure?
I feel like it's been 75.
Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at some of these names, right? David Wright, Omar Vizquel, and I don't feel too old. Omar Vizquel, Mark Burrow, don't feel too old. Pedroia, Manny Ramirez, probably I don't feel too old with Manny Ramirez, but
It's his 10th year of eligibility. If that doesn't make you feel old, I don't know what does.
Felix Hernandez. What Felix Hernandez is this?
That's the one who pitched in Seattle.
Yeah. I'm embarrassed to say this. I thought he was still playing.
So there's a lot of Felixes in Major League Baseball, and there's a lot of Hernandezes in Major League Baseball.
When I was watching the play, I didn't pay attention to Seattle that much, but I was rooting for them on the American League side.
Mm-hmm.
I kept wondering, like, when's Felix Hernandez pitching? And I just never even thought about it. Like when I didn't see, I just never even put 2 and 2 together.
Mm-hmm.
But damn, to see that, okay, he's Hall of Fame eligible. Wow, how long he been going? Because I really felt like he was still playing. I felt like, anyway, doesn't matter. That's your Hall of Fame. That's your Hall of Fame inductees. Congratulations, Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones. Andrew Jones getting in really makes me feel old too, because I remember him as a rookie in the 90s. I remember.
Right.
And personally, I mean, I know this is probably going to be one of the dumbest things I say, but I didn't feel like Andrew Jones was that good. I didn't think he was a bum. But I just didn't think he was that. I thought he was on a very good team. He was one of the, hot players on a very good team. But I just didn't. I never thought of Andrew Jones as Hall of Fame worthy while he was playing. I thought he was really good. I just didn't think Hall of Fame. And maybe my opinion of Hall of Fame was too high. Like when I think Hall of Fame, I think the Ted Williamses, the Babe Ruths, the Mike Schmidts, the Reggie Jacksons. That's what I think. But those are your top notches. And if I say those names, Jimmy Rollins doesn't get in, Chase doesn't get in, and all like that. Miguel, I thought Andy Pettitte got in.
No, he was another one that he should be in.
CC got in last year.
CC got in. I would argue that CC should have gotten in. Although I'm envious of him because how is it that he's been retired for like 6 years, but he's in the best shape of his life now than he was when he's pitching? Dude's freaking a rock. And but I'm glad for him because he started this whole campaign to help restore or give past Negro League players a platform to tell their stories and also to have them seek not reparations, but like just get them the notoriety they deserve if they need to be in the Hall of Fame and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
He came out with a whole line of clothing line. I think it featured like Muhammad Ali, Bruce Lee, and stuff like that, but like our heroes of yesterday. So I like what he's doing there.
Probably a big factor in MLB incorporating Negro League statistics into their statistics. It's probably a pretty big proponent from that. Keeping in the baseball theme, let's talk a little Phillies, Miguel. As we said on last week's show, the Phillies missed out on free agent Bo Bichette. They were in on him. Mets came in last minute and made the deal happen. There is a free agent pitcher out there because they lost Ranger Suarez. There's a free agent pitcher by the name of Framber Valdez. Miguel, what are your thoughts? Should the Phillies go after him, or should they just kind of stick with what they got going on in their rotation right now with the the unknown of Wheeler, and you got Sanchez, you got Nola, you got was it Rosardo? Who is it? Jesus Luzardo, excuse me, Luzardo. Jesus Luzardo. And quite possibly Andrew Painter. What are you doing here? You're the GM of the Phillies. What are you doing?
I would go after. I personally would go after Valdez because he would be a replacement of Suarez. And he's a World Series pedigree. Remember, he pitched against us in the World Series and won. And he's at that age where like it can go either way, but he doesn't have an injury history. So there's that part. The only knock, which is kind of stupid to me, but this is like the tradition of baseball. There was an issue last season where he may have showed up his catcher. So it was I can't remember. I think it might have been it was in Houston, and the catcher in the middle of the pitch was like, "Hold on," and he kept doing this, step off, and Valdez didn't. So he throws a fastball right over the plate, and it gets hit like 500 feet. Right.
I remember that. Yep.
Next pitch, the catcher calls for an off-speed pitch, and he throws a 95-mile-an-hour fastball right into his damn chest. And the catcher took it like a champ and kind of had that look on his face like, bro, what the hell? Valdez just turned around and moved off the mound, and when he took the ball from the catcher, snatched it, and you could see him fuming. Now, to his credit, he said he apologized to the catcher. The catcher said, yes, he did apologize. There's water under the bridge. He was embarrassed by it, yada, yada, yada. And pitchers can be, hyped in the moment. So there you go.
They can be divas too.
Right. But at the same time, I don't think that should be the reason why you shouldn't look after, you should skip him to add to your rotation. That to me is just stupid.
You don't think that's enough? You're saying you don't think that's enough to not go after?
It's not enough to not go after because again, it's like he's had a history of consistency. He's a World Series pitcher, so he has experience, and I think that's what you need on this squad right now. So
if you go and get Valdez, what happens with Painter? Because they want to bring him up at some point.
So here's my take on Painter. I always think of like these stud pitchers as bargaining chips in trades. And usually Dombrowski historically has been a trader of, prospects and stuff like that. I would look to possibly maybe even put him on the trade block if things kind of go south early.
Really?
Well, I mean, he's coming off of this is his second year coming off of Tommy John. He had some command issues last year. So technically this is the year where he should be going back to form and getting better or worse or whatever the case may be. But I don't know. I wasn't too keen on him. The same way I wasn't really too keen on Abel, but we were able to use him as a trading chip to get our new closer, Duran. So I don't know. I'm kind of wishy-washy with Painter, but we'll see what happens in the spring. But I don't mind having Valdez as he'd be a really nice insurance policy. Then you could possibly trade Nola, which I've been trying to trade him for the last 5 years.
I don't know about one Nola. 5 years ago when you first wanted to trade him, maybe. Don't buy one him now. And just so I can dim your light a little bit, you also wanted to trade Schwarber a couple years ago.
I was justified in having him traded a few years ago, but he changed. He changed. He cut down his strikeouts. He raised his batting average.
See, that's where I feel like us as Philadelphia fans go wrong. Is we take what we're given as face value and don't think that you can be any better unless you're a young player, rookie on the come up, right?
Well,
Like for instance, Tyrese Maxey. Okay, and we'll talk about him in a little bit. When he was a rookie, me personally, I said if there was talk when he was a rookie, I think Ben Simmons was still on the team. And B was he's still on the team now. I think Jimmy Butler on that team? Might have been the next year. But anyway, I said at the time, there was a lot of talk about, trading like Simmons and all like that. And I said um there are the Sixers were looking to trade Simmons for something, right? And I said to some friends of mine, and they'll vouch for me. There's three people I don't want traded. And this was around the pandemic. So this was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I said, I don't want Simmons traded. I was wrong about that. Boy, was I wrong about that. I didn't want Matisse Thybulle traded. Wrong about that one. You laughing at me. But the one I was right about is I didn't want Tyrese Maxey traded. And I remember Mike Missinelli, somebody saying that to Mike Missinelli on the radio and him going in on the person talking about, well, what has he done to make you think that he's going to be any good and blah, blah, blah. I saw something in Tyrese Maxey as a youngin. And I don't know what it was. I watch a lot of basketball. I love the sport. So, sometimes I'm able to pick up on a lot of things early with players because just natural progression. And and Tyrese Maxey was one of them players that he came into a situation where he didn't have to be the man. And he was able to grow into who he is now as the man. Aaron Nola, I'm sorry, Andrew Painter can be in this situation where he doesn't have to be the man. And he can grow into being a formidable starter. The only caveat to that, Miguel, and you might agree with this, when you're in the minors, you're growing into a man that your expectation is once you go from the minors to the majors, you're ready. You're at the point where you're supposed to be. And that will probably be that setback for Andrew Painter, which could end up getting him traded. And as us as Philadelphia fans, we don't really have that patience. We don't have the patience for people to become stars. We want them to be stars right away. We had guys like Barkley, who was a star right away. Allen Iverson was a star right away. Randall Cunningham was a star right away once he got to playing. Eric Lindros, star right away. Give me some more people. Reggie White, star right away. Well, he came from the USFL. Give me some more people. Donovan McNabb was a star right away. And there are people that become stars right away, but we don't have the patience for the people to become stars if we need a star. It's just that I don't know other cities are not like that, but when Philadelphia is looking for, didn't have the patience for Andre Iguodala. Didn't. Right? He was supposed to be the next.
But that was the Sixers' fault, which is why the Sixers are such a horrible organization. They promoted the hell out of him as being AI2 or whatever that was. That was the Sixers' fault, knowing that his game was a defensive game. You know what I mean?
I agree with
you. You know what I mean? Because I was a fan of Iguodala as well, but I was like, but he's not. He's defensive. You know what I mean?
Right, and we were looking for him to be something other than what he actually was.
Right, and I think
and end up getting him ran out of town and traded for somebody who never freaking played for us.
Yeah,
Andrew Bynum.
But he can definitely dance the salsa, and he can definitely bowl.
Well, he had a lot of time to learn all that stuff while he wasn't playing.
Just didn't have a great plan for his hair.
No, he didn't. Moving on, we're going to one last baseball note to speak of. The World Baseball Classic is happening this year. Was it every 4 years? Because was it a year late last time?
It was a year late because of COVID.
Gotcha.
So that's why it's already come upon us. And there's still players that are constantly being added to these rosters. I think Byron Buxton just announced he was going to play for the U.S. team.
You gonna have a brother on the
Uh,
team?
Yeah,
Yeah. We ain't had that brother on the team since Jimmy, right? Or was it McCutcheon? One of them two.
well, it might have been McCutcheon, but
We might have had a brother on the team last year. I don't know. I'm just saying. Just putting it. Don't kill me, everybody. Don't kill me. I don't think we did though, but we might have. So it starts March 5th. So it starts in about a month and a half. Starts March 5th to March 17th. Fun little tournament. They took baseball out of the Olympics. So they said every 4 years we're gonna have our own tournament, and they did that.
but it's coming back. 28, Los Angeles baseball's coming back.
Oh, it is.
Hmm.
They shouldn't have did that. They shouldn't have did
What?
that. Because it's in the middle of the summer. Base MLB season's in the middle of the summer. So are they going to send MLB players and pause the season
So that's I think that so that
and then have replacement play? Like, what are they going to do?
right. I think that's where the conflict is right now, and that's where they're looking. I think it's part of the negotiations for the upcoming CBA, which I don't know. After all the signings this year, I think we're gonna have to literally start looking at a salary cap or something, a threshold or whatever.
Probably, which will really change the face of baseball.
It might change it for the better, only because like now you're starting to have the super teams again. Because like, why did the Dodgers have to have
Yeah,
Kyle Tucker? And not only that, he's not even worth that much. You know what I mean? Like now you're pretty soon you're probably gonna have like Aaron Nola make like 60 million a year, and for what?
not with the Phillies, you ain't gonna make no $60 million a year.
Somebody will pay him 60 million.
Nobody, but it better not be us. Better not be us. But you're right. He's making $60 million a year. So.
But I like the prospect of having, because now you have the World Baseball Classic and then the Olympics every other year. So every even year there's something going on with baseball. So 26 this year is the World Baseball Classic, 28 is the Olympics.
It is not MLB players. I will not care about it in the Olympics.
You don't want to see college players?
I want to watch college players play college baseball.
Dude,
That's
you
just
suck.
It's my personal thing. I want to because I don't know who these college players are. Right? And you could say, well, you don't know who half the athletes are in the Olympics. That's true. But since they started sending professionals, I want to see my professional athletes play baseball, basketball. I wouldn't even mind watching them play flag football, which some of them might be playing in 2028. The professional athletes. You have and the NHL players play in the Olympics every year, and the Winter Olympics happen during the NHL season.
Well, and they have the benefit of fewer games, and they can cut the training. There's I guess spring training.
How many games do they play in hockey?
82.
I just kind of thought they played as many as the NBA.
They do. 82.
80, 81, 82 games?
82 games, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But what they usually do is I think they have the players play more games in the beginning, but they start earlier or something to that effect. They might start like a week earlier.
Yeah, they've started because they used to start around the same time as basketball. And then they started earlier.
Right.
And now basketball starts earlier and hockey starts even earlier than basketball does now, still.
Right. So they can flex it. Baseball's hard because you got 162 games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is still, I think, too many. I think they should still go down to like 154 or even 150, you know. But I know that's a concession thing. You know, they need that money, apparently, God forbid. But
yeah. All right. Well, keep an eye out for that. We're going to have, we're going to discuss it. I love the World Baseball Classic. I remember
it was, you know, It was the last baseball classic was awesome, especially, and it was my first one that I actually sat through and watched like most of the games.
Oh, really?
Especially since, well, because I don't think it was as televised in the previous years, or
Yes,
at
it
least
was.
I didn't.
Right. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but
But you
now,
can wake up in the middle of the night and see a game going on in like Korea.
right, that's what I'm saying, and it's like, but when you see the major leaguers, you're like, oh, I know that guy. I didn't know he was Korean, or I didn't know he was um,
Italian or
Italian. Right, right.
Canadian, whatever the
Right.
case may be. Yeah. So you're looking forward to that coming up in about a month and a half. So definitely stay tuned for that because we're going to talk about it too. You remember if you don't remember last time the last time that World Baseball Classic, United States played Japan in the final, and Shohei Otani struck out.
Mike Trout.
Thank you. I was brain farting on his name, Mike Trout, to end the entire tournament, and they were teammates at the time, which was
Yeah,
which was
that spring training was awkward.
that was yeah. Then that was the last year Otani played with the Angels too.
Right.
All right, so we have another video before we bring up Tyrese Maxey. Do we need an introduction for this one, Miguel?
Nope. Self-explanatory.
Here we go.
A really good two-way player. Doing, he got it right in the nose, right there. And to make matters worse, the foul is on him, and that's the right call. But man, look at his nose. Wow,
Oh.
already swollen. That looks like a broken nose. I'm not a doctor, Clyde. Yeah, no, but you're right.
I don't even want to see that again. But you know what's crazy? I'm assuming that was recent. But I don't know how long he played for the Phoenix Suns,
Mm.
but I'm assuming that was recent. And he played last night against the Sixers.
Oh,
He didn't have a mask on or anything. So he played last night against the Sixers. That was Grayson Allen. And Miguel, I don't know if you remember who Grayson Allen is. Do you remember who Grayson Allen is by chance?
the name sounds vaguely familiar, but
So Grayson Allen played basketball, his college basketball at Duke University. And he was the guy that was getting he was kicking guys in the nuts. You remember that?
now I do.
He was the guy that was kicking people in the nuts. So, yeah, that is that. Real quick note, basketball note. Congratulations to Tyrese Maxey, man. My favorite Sixer right now. My favorite Sixer to watch play. I'm really happy to see his progression, becoming a star, possibly even a superstar. He was named to his second All-Star team. So he'll be playing in the All-Star game this year or the All-Star tournament this year. But he was also named for the first time in his career an All-Star starter. So he'll be starting in the All-Star tournament this year. So congratulations to him, man. Shows you what hard work does. I know you haven't been watching the NBA because I know you don't like the product right now. But with that kid, that's one that I can honestly say I've seen his hard work actually, bring him through. You can always tell like what he's been working on because like his jumper wasn't all that great when he was younger. His jumper is really good now. His handle got better. His drive to the bucket's gotten better. He's doing a lot of things better and he's improving all the time. And he really, he looks like he enjoys playing the game. So and he's really a fan favorite here in Philadelphia. So congratulations to Tyrese Maxey becoming a all-star starter for the first time in his entire life, as far as the NBA is concerned. Congratulations to him. So we have another video before Miguel stumps me. We need an introduction for this one.
No, but this one hurts just as much, but it's more poetic.
Okay, here we go. What happened? Miguel, you there?
I'm here.
I don't. Did it play on your end? Because it stopped on my end.
It freezes on mine. Let me see. Let me re-upload it.
Let's try this one more again.
All right.
While he's getting that, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. It's a New Twist Radio YouTube channel where you can check out all of our past shows, and you can also check us out wherever you listen to your podcast as well. If you don't want to watch us, you could just listen to us. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, yeah, you gotta pay attention. You gotta pay attention. That reminds me of I think we may have had the video on the show once before. That woman that was courtside at a basketball game,
Yeah.
all gets chest passed to somebody that sits
Mm-hmm.
right there and she was on her phone too. It's right in the
Mm-hmm.
face. Woo! And look, that reminds me of that. All right. With that being said, Miguel is going to attempt to stump me. Okay, so here we go. This person was a three-time baseball player, three-time All-Star, won the ERA title, Is that right?
I couldn't hear you over the music. The music was very loud over your voice.
I'm sorry because I got the music turned all the way up. I'm sorry. That was sorry. I said this is a three-time All-Star. He has won the ERA title. This is a baseball player, and he was an NLCS MVP. He played for the Padres, Phillies, Cubs, and Rockies.
He played for the Astros, the Phillies, the Rangers, and the Rockies.
And he was a starting pitcher,
Yes.
and he started his career with the Astros.
Yes.
Can you give me the okay? Astros, Phillies, who, and Rockies?
Astros, Phillies, Texas Rangers, and Rockies.
I know Cole Hamels went to the Texas Rangers after the Phillies, but he didn't play for the Padres before. Was it the Padres? Who'd you say was the first one?
Astros.
He didn't play for the Astros before he played for the Phillies.
No, Hamels was drafted by the Phillies.
He was drafted by. He was homegrown. Can you give me the time frame of this person's career?
I would say like 05 to like 15, 16. Maybe 03.
Brad Lidge. Would a closer be considered for an ERA title?
Yeah. But it's not him.
Good. So, okay, let me ask you this. Was he on the Phillies World Series team in 08?
No.
Can you tell me when he played for the Phillies?
After 08.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. That's good because it could have been before 08 and then he just wasn't on 08's team. So it was after 08. And we have the Astros, the Phillies. Who was it? And the Rockies?
Texas Rangers.
Okay, so he won the NLCS with he could have won it with the Astros because they were American. They were National League. The Phillies went to the World Series in 09, though, and he could have won because you said after 08. 09 is after 08. But I'm assuming he won the NLCS MVP as a Astro. Am I correct in saying that?
You are correct.
I don't remember who was pitching for the Astros back then. There was Shane Reynolds. I got it.
Jesus.
I had his baseball card like 20 times. I don't know why I had his baseball card so many times. Roy Oswalt.
Impressive, sir. Impressive.
I had to stall out to remember who went from Astros to the Phillies.
Yeah, he was part of the big four or five or whatever. It was Hamels, Cliff Lee, Roy Halladay, Roy Oswalt, and Joe Blanton, and we still couldn't win a World Series.
That was a hell of a rotation too, man. That was a fun year to watch the Phillies, except for in the playoffs.
Right.
That was a fun year to watch because the pitching was just dominant. And Cole Hamels, God bless him, Cole Hamels could not get any run support that entire season. That entire season, he couldn't get run support. Why? What did Cole do to y'all? What I didn't know was, I didn't know he ended up playing for Colorado.
Yeah, but it was definitely towards the end of his
Oh, for sure.
it was like the last hurrah,
Because he wasn't too far from the end of his career when he was with the Phillies.
I mean, he was with us for 2 years.
He was with us for 2 years. He came to us in 11.
I want to say 10 or 11.
It was
10 or 11. Because 09, that's when we got the last of Pedro Martinez on fumes.
Actually, he came to us in, I want to say 11, because Holiday came to us in 10.
Right. So Holiday came to us in 10, and we had Lee came to us in 09. And then remember, we got rid of Lee to get Holiday.
Yeah, Holiday.
And then we got Lee.
And
right. We got Lee in free agency back in 10, and then we traded for Oswalt in 10. So he pitched 10, 11, and I want to say parts of 12.
And nothing to show for it. Didn't even get to a World Series with those four aces.
Nope. Sure didn't.
Blanton. That's a shame. It's a doggone shame. Talk about the four aces and Blanton is just that other guy that hit a home run in the World Series. Shout out to Joe Blanton. Hey, that's what's that? 2 in a row? That's 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, man, you're back on the schneid. You're back in the good graces of guessing.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate that. Look, we're gonna get up out of here. Miguel, you got any last words before we get up out of here?
Stay warm out there. Check on family, friends, and animals. And listen, I know that it may be like apocalyptic snow. Don't buy up all the milk, the eggs, and stuff. You're literally going to be in house for like maybe a day and a half, maybe 2. Okay? Stop taking all the damn eggs and all the damn milk. Okay?
So
crap.
Can I piggyback on top of that?
Go for it.
Let's pause in there somewhere.
And don't take the Cocoa Pebbles. I got dibs on them.
I feel like the whole buy up all the eggs and water and cheese and milk stuff was like before a thing before the 90s.
Is it a propaganda by Big Cheese?
Probably. I feel like it was like a thing for before the 90s. I think it was like a thing before the 2000s. I feel like after the 2000s, because even like you got convenience stores now. Like you don't have to go to the grocery store. Now, if you got to go to the grocery store because you just don't have anything, you just need to go anywhere, then go. But don't just go buy all the milk for the sake of we're going to have some snow that's going to be plowed up off the street within a couple of days if it's a whole lot. Come on, people. Don't let the media that's not New to Us Radio scare you? See what I did there?
Nice segue.
See what I did there? All right. Well, thank you for that, Miguel. And yes, bring on the snow. Bring it on.
You're sick.
Bring on the snow. Keep me out of work for like 2 weeks and a half.
You remember 2010 when we had the back-to-back blizzards?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was real fun digging out of that one.
Yeah. And I don't like so in 96, we had the ice storm first.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the snow on top of that. That ice was killer. It was 96 was the year I decided I'm not making any more money shoveling snow. I did 96, but after that, that was it. That was my last year. I retired from the snow shoveling business in 96. All right, 30 inches of snow in 96. Wouldn't mind seeing that today. All right, we're going to get up out of here for real this time. We appreciate y'all hanging with us here on the Check Swing Podcast with myself and, of course, my man Miguel down in
Baltimore, having big fun.
We will talk to you next week right here on New to Us Radio to recap championship weekend. Rams and Seahawks, Patriots and Broncos. Keep it locked, y'all. Congrats, Tyrese Maxey. Shout out to you, bro.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Go Six. Go Flyers. Not all I got.
Go Puerto Rico.
Go Puerto Rico. Venezuela. We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Peace.
Until we meet again.